anyone who is a subscriber to a paid product gets my Frankly Speaking podcast for free. And it's a cool podcast. I pulled it offline. So you can't get it through iTunes. Only available to paid subscribers, where every week on Friday, I have you write in. You write in frankcurzioresearch.com, and I answer your questions. And it's great, and I'll say your name and say, hey, the first name or whatever. Answer your questions. So, getting tons of questions lately, lots and lots of questions, which I usually reserve for Frankly Speaking, but I'm going to answer some of those questions today. This way we can have a really, really cool segment here, because Daniel's not here, and I miss him a little bit. Not really. I miss him a little bit. I see him a lot. But he'll be back shortly. But let's get to some of your questions. This is really cool. So first one is like, hey, Frank, uranium is finally going up due to the problems in Ukraine. Just a short fire or finally a solid uptrend? What are your thoughts? Maybe a story for your podcasts. I have about 20% of my portfolio in uranium. And I've increased that over the past few years. I would say more like 15% now, about 15% in uranium. And, got into like early financings with Uranium Royalty Company. So I own that. A Zarger I own for a very long time, right? It's US based. Those are the two that I like. But what I'm seeing in this industry, listen, the fundamentals are there. I mean, I'm going to answer a question on him later on. That's why I'm going to bring him up. But Mike Alkin used to work here. And I talked about how, I was passionate about COVID and how, you get addicted to it, especially your thesis turns out right. And, one of the first to really see things before everybody else. You really get, engulfed. And Alkin here, he got engulfed in uranium. And he was just blown away. And he was looking at statistics and he started his own fund and he raised a lot of money. And yeah, that was his passion and not so much, the newsletter, which is fine. That's why we had to move on for that. He's still a good friend, great guy, great family. But by far the smartest guy you'll know about uranium. And you're looking at the fundamentals. It's going to happen. Prices are going to skyrocket. And you're looking at demand across the board, and you're seeing so much supply come off the markets. The fundamentals are there, and I like the way this industry is moving. You're seeing these things, move higher now. Nobody's really talking about uranium too much. If you're into uranium, you're talking about it every single day. I'm not talking about the diehards and stuff like that. But you're really into uranium. Uranium's huge. But I'm talking about people who hey, uranium, yeah, sure, I'll buy a couple of, most stocks are going to do good, but I would, I like Zarger. I like, you could own Cameco, which is the largest player in the space. That's a safe play. Uranium Royalty. You can have first only royalty company in the uranium space, which is great. So you've seen that, all these stocks are starting to rise. I like what I'm seeing here. I'm not seeing, like energy, I don't like the price movement. And Chris McIntosh was someone we had on here and talked about energy, and I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, it seems early, and he was early. We had him on probably about 3 months ago, and on Wall Street Unplugged, and we took a pick. I don't know if it was an ETF we recommended off of his thesis for oil, and I don't know if it was services or drillers or something like that. And it fell. It almost hit our stop. It fell pretty sharply. It fell about I want to say around 15, almost 15%. I'm not too sure what the stop was on that 15% Dollar Stock Club. But it didn't trigger, and then it took off, and now it's up a lot, right? So, but I don't like the move in energy where you see stocks go up, 300% when the fundamental landscape hasn't really changed. It hasn't. Look at the rig counts. And you're looking at oil prices. They need oil price to go higher, but we still have lockdowns. There's not enough demand. That's one of the last cyclical industries that you're really going to see take off, even later than cruises and casinos and travel. So I'm not crazy seeing a massive move like that where I'm like, wow, it's confirmed. Go into energy right now. No, I think a lot of the gains. This move in uranium is very encouraging. You're seeing these stocks start to break out. They're not going up 15% a day like we see with marijuana companies all over the place. Tilray announced a massive acquisition, actually more like a merger, becoming the world's biggest marijuana company. Both stocks are up on that news today. That was pretty cool. But you saw Tilray go from low single digits to 13, 14, 50, comes all the way back down. It's hard to confirm and say, wow, it's all that inventory because there's tons of inventory in the marijuana industry. right now. Is it really confirmed? But if you're looking at the fundamentals, you're looking at electricity companies that have to lock in contracts. You're looking at supply, demand, how much supply came off and how demand's taking off. You're seeing mandates in the U.S. where, U.S. producers, right, we produce no uranium in the United States, but I think, don't quote me on this, you uranium crazy people, I think it's, 20% or something like that we're responsible for, we consume. So now that energy, the latest policy says that we have to buy a certain percentage in the U.S., which is great, which is awesome. But if you're looking at so many things, and I've never seen this industry, I've never seen so far in the last 10 years, name another trend that has been worse than uranium. Go back to 2010, Fukushima. Ever since then, it's been horrible, 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 horrible. Horrible. In order to produce uranium, you need higher prices. So much supply has come off the market, but seriously, we saw, gold was terrible, but that was 4 years. 2012, 2016, caught a bid. Went to the bear market in 17, 18, started getting better. Now it's, gold. You're looking at everything, even any commodity. You look at uranium has been the worst ever. And now you're seeing it break out. And these things could go up 300-400% and still not be where they were pre-Fukushima. There's massive opportunity there. I'm excited. I own this stuff. I'm not selling it. But yeah, this is a real breakout here. Definitely a real breakout. Let's go through a couple more. So this is from my boy Stefan. He'll say, Frank, seasoned greetings, you anorexic racist. Very well said, very well said. I did lose a lot of weight, and I was talking about how I'm a racist because I'm a capitalist. And he says, back in 2017, he talks about Alkin finished his first deep dive in uranium, started speaking about the coming supply shortage, sprinkling the dash COVID-19, and here we are, showing nice gains in our holdings. It appears we're starting a bull run in this space. So, yeah, we covered that already. But he also goes into the coal ETF. KO has gone belly up. I've been hearing ramblings about coal being at the bottom of the cycle, and there are significant more coal power plants being built around the world than nuclear plants. Question, is coal or some other commodity on your radar at all? And he says, lastly, would you consider having Mike Alkin as a guest on Wall Street? Absolutely. Mike Alkin's a great guy. He's awesome. I would definitely have him on here to talk about uranium. I'll try to reach out to him. But I wouldn't go near coal because the current administration hates it. And, I don't think there's money to be made here on coal. But if you're looking at commodities, I mean, we talked about uranium, but look at copper. I mean, you should be buying gold producers like crazy, especially, Newmont's, the Barricks, the Royal Golds. Oh, depending on the royalty companies and the Franco-Nevadas, if they have access to, usually they'll lock in, purchase gold at a much lower price. But if you're looking at the major producers, copper and gold get produced together, right? It's like oil and gas. Going for oil, you're going to hit gas. Go for gas, you may hit oil. It's like a byproduct. And copper prices are up tremendously. And a lot of great reports I shared. Again, Curzio Research YouTube page. I brought up a Goldman Sachs report. They did a great job about a month ago outlining why they think copper price is going up another 35%, which is incredible. But, I mean, you're looking at these guys, hundreds of millions of pounds of copper, and it's up $1 just in the past month and a half, 2 months. That's a lot of extra money on top of the massive amount of money they're generating from producing gold at their costs are sub 1,000. You look at large producers, and wherever, 1,800, 19, wherever we are in between that. And they just printed money right now. It's incredible. But I can tell you, Newmont, Barrick, wait till they report their results. They're going to blow them out. They're going to blow out the results. Because no one's, even in their presentations that I went to, they're not factoring copper. Iron ore is another one. Iron ore is taking off. Infrastructure trade is there. Not because we'll get an infrastructure bill, which we'll probably never get. Again, both sides agree to it for the last 6 years, 5 years, but, we still don't have one, so don't anticipate us getting one anytime soon. But that infrastructure trade's alive. Seen a lot of infrastructure stocks do well now. But that's stuff, iron ore, copper, uranium. That's what I'm looking at. And thanks for writing in. He's a good friend. This question is from Eddie. He says, Amen, Frank. I agree totally with the brainwashing of our youth, which I had a rant on the last podcast, talking about the books that they're reading, saying, you're racist if you believe in capitalism. I can't tell you how many people wrote in from schools all over the place, guys, all over. In California, in New York. I can't tell you how many, and there were, these parents wrote in, and even teachers wrote in and said, this is being pushed, you have no idea. And they shared stories of people getting fired that don't have that agenda. I mean, it's I didn't realize this, right? I'm not in school. I didn't realize it. And then I did realize, during these riots, when I see these kids who are privileged yelling in the face of a cop who's working his ass off to help people. Not all of them are great. We understand bad ones have to be punished. But when you're yelling and saying, I hope your kids die, you're a piece of shit, you're garbage, I'm like, where does the anger come from? It's coming from our schools. Anyway, he says, amen, Frank, thanks. He goes, all three of my girls came out of college as flaming liberals after being raised as conservatives. Two of them graduated from North Carolina State and one from Appalachian State. They're extremely intelligent, but were literally brainwashed by being bombarded with liberal teachings in college. Two of them were in the Young Republicans Club in high school, so it happened in college. Good luck with protecting the education of your girls. I do think my girls will learn more as they grow older in the real world and learn what they were taught, that not everything that they were taught was true to them. But it's painful watching that to happen. If you confront them about it, you only push them away. It affects the father-daughter relationships. Hope you fare better than I did. Thanks for all you do. Paid up Curzio 1 member. Thanks. And I appreciate that email. It's not about being Republican or Democrat, right? I don't care, but this is what you're teaching our kids. I mean, I have plenty of friends that are Republicans that just have different, and plenty of friends that are Democrats, and we have different reasons that we think how to better the country, which is fine. But we're not saying that don't work hard. You're racist. I mean, you're having them read books that suggest you're if you believe in capitalism, that you're racist. I mean, really? Come on. Again, small businesses, the foundation of our country. Innovation. You want to unleash these kids. You don't want to hold them back. This is what we're teaching them? Are you kidding me? This is what we're teaching them? I mean, my kids, no way. Holy cow. No way. No way. If I hear that, I'll go right to the school. I'll flip. That's not their job. Make them smarter. Educate them. Don't go with your agenda here, especially something like that. Are you kidding me? You wonder why there's so much anger around. Anyway, it's pretty crazy. Take a couple more questions. I don't want to run too late here. And when I say that, frankly speaking, I say, you can ask me a question about anything, stocks, economy, the market, sports. So I do have a couple of sports questions. And so the next, Frank, is Wentz done? Are you a Jalen Hurts fan? Eagles looked good last week. I am a Jalen Hurts fan. I think Wentz is done. There's something there. If you notice, Hurts did something remarkable. If you're an Eagles fan, I mean, I saw on second, third down, he rolled out. There was nothing there. He threw the ball away. Oh my God. He slid before he got hit when he ran. But I'm a big character guy, and see Jalen Hurts where he went to Alabama when Tua replaced him and then won the championship. And he said, he was like on the side the following year. I didn't think he would come back from that. And then when he go to Oklahoma, lose Oklahoma, and kill it. And for me, that's someone that's resilient. That's someone that has great character. And that's why I like him. And he's, you see the team play different. I watched the highlights of that as well through Inside the NFL, and they mic'd the players, and he was giving that speech beforehand. I mean, it's pretty cool, man. I like him. He's got an arm. I love that they're throwing him into the fire. He's gonna get beat up, but they did beat basically the New Orleans Saints. I won't say they're the best team in the East. Green Bay is right now, and they didn't have Drew Brees. But the Eagles won. They won, and it was nice and it was fun, and you saw them come together. It was really cool. So, yeah, I am a Jalen Hurts fan. I'm a fan of people with that kind of character where, everybody hits bottom and he hit bottom. To see him come back and what he did at Oklahoma and just to see what he's doing now, it is pretty exciting. I mean, the same thing for Lamar Jackson. I don't know if you saw that Monday night game, best game of the year. Holy cow. Lamar Jackson came out, got hurt, came out, fourth down, threw a touchdown, and then drove him down for a winning field goal. It was incredible. And, look, nobody wanted him either, right? He got drafted at the end of the first round. Not saying Hurts is going to be Lamar Jackson, but it's really nice. It's pretty cool to see that, no turnovers and things like that, which is awesome. Let's go to the next question. Joe So I'm listening for over 10 years, so I feel like I know everything about you. So I want you to name 3 things we may not know about you. Thanks for all you do. 3 things that you don't know about. Okay, I'll give you 3 things. I suppose you know everything about me. 3 things. I scored 52 points in a basketball game once. I'm almost at level 3,000 on Candy Crush. I love it because I love puzzles and figuring them out. If you're Candy Crush, you're going to be like, holy cow, it's insane. It is. And I benched 300 pounds for the first time 2 weeks ago. Those are 3 things that you talk about. I should have threw like a negative thing in there just to have fun. But anyway, those are 3 things. Good question, though. I like it. Just real quick, couple more. This is MPX. Will you take the Pfizer vaccine? Hearing a lot of negative stories out there about the side effects. I'm a little worried. If you're under 45, look, I'm 48, and, I'm doing this on COVID. But, again, it could impact everyone differently. I wouldn't. That's just me. But if I'm 65, I would. And not only that, I think you're going to see more people take it than when they actually say, because when you take it, think about it. I mean, you're thinking of a world with no masks and going out and not worrying about this crap anymore. And, some people are against it, but I think as time goes on, I think the Moderna vaccine is going to be taken a lot more. But we'll see. But I just hate the studies that are coming out right now, and people just going against these people and just getting, just saying the second dose, and they'll highlight there's like 12,000, 15,000 people in phase 3 studies, and I'll take 3 of them and write a negative story about it and post it on, a major website. And I'm like, come on, man. I mean, this is what they want to anger you. They want to scare the shit out of you. This way, you'll read their stuff even more. There's a clear agenda behind it. But, the second shot, yeah, you're going to have some side effects, but it'll be worth it, especially if you have underlying conditions. But this went through, I wouldn't worry about it. It's rushed through or nothing like that. It went through the proper protocols, and they got it through. So, if you take it, you take it. But if I was on a 45, I wouldn't. Let's go to the last question here. It goes, Frank, what's your favorite tech stock to own right now? It's a good question. I do like Adobe. I think Adobe's really a great company. And you know what? I recommended Dropbox, and we took a small loss on it in my Curzio Research Advisory newsletter. We recommended Dropbox probably about, like 5 months ago. And I was pretty pissed because when I look at that at Dropbox, it was the only technology company in that space. Storage, cloud, and it did nothing. And I was pissed. I'm like, what? But now it just recently broke out, and it's not like up tremendously, but I think it's like 23, 24. It's breaking out, and there's no news on it. So someone's really loading up on it. So just take a look at it. I know I sold out of it already and at a small loss because it was just like dead money for I think 6 months. I was pissed off because I could have just literally threw a dart at any other freaking technology company and been up like 25, 30%. But, they do have tons of people on this platform, and, people that's a massive asset, as we see with Disney and streaming, right? So how many people you can get to your platform. Don't worry about if they're going to pay $1 for your services, just get them to your platform. There's tons of people that use Dropbox. I even use it. I like it. It's, again, this is something for my company smaller. There's better services out there, but I like what Dropbox is. And at this stage, it's a cheap technology stock, which I don't know if that's a good thing these days, but I think it does have a lot of upside potential. It's nice to see it break out. And again, we sold it, I think a month and a half ago or something like that, 2 months ago. So, and now it's up about 10%, I think, since then, maybe 15%, but nice breakout. So those are the 2.